Lots of people think that in order to be charismatic, you have to be born with it, and you have to have the bone structure of a Greek god. That will 100% work if you're a Norse mythology god named Thor. But if you're like most people, we don't have all that. In fact, trying to look like you're about to ascend to a peace-owned world, hell, often make you less charismatic because instead of saying hello like a normal person would, you say hello, spending all your mental energy posing instead of connecting. Truth is, charisma is a skill you can learn without having to stand like this guy. After studying everyone, in a good way, not in a Joe Goldberg way, after studying everyone from well-known public figures to that one person who makes you feel genuinely seen, I found out that they all have mastered one skill in common. These have nothing to do with shaping your skull with a towel or how you stand, but everything about how you make them feel. Before we get into that, let me introduce you to the 3 pillars of Riz. I know some of you might say, charisma isn't the same as Riz. To which I say, charisma is just unserious flirting, and flirting is Riz. Therefore, charisma is Riz. If you master these 3 pillars, you will be like a magnetic force to people. Important note though, real quick, not a sponsor break, no worries, but these principles are extremely powerful and should not be taken lightly. These have been used to create cults, leading to the ruin and death of their followers, so please promise me you'll devote your new skill to good and not evil. I think we've seen this film before, and we did not like the ending. So, the first pillar is presence. I'm not talking about body language here. Body language will follow naturally once you get these pillars down. Presence here means being fully in the moment with someone. Charismatic people make you feel like you're the center of the universe, like you are the most interesting person they've met all day. Also, they look like they're in love with you when really they're just paying attention to you, and they do it without being fake or condescending. You do this by doing this stupidly simple thing. Princess Diana was a master of this. When she spoke with someone, she would often offer a gentle, direct gaze and ask thoughtful questions about the person in front of her. She made all people, from AIDS patients to landmine victims, feel truly seen and heard, not as causes, but as people. Even though she was surrounded by freaking paparazzi. Look at this guy. Her power wasn't only in the big speeches, but also in making the person in front of her feel like they were, in that moment, the only person in the room. And that's exactly what you have to do. The second pillar is a strong stand of conviction. Charismatic people don't have the need to imitate others because they already feel comfortable in their own skin. They have strong opinions and aren't afraid to stand by them, even if that opinion makes others feel uncomfortable because they stand by what they believe. Now let me show you what happens when someone masters this pillar. Napoleon.
Bonjour, mademoiselle.
This 5'6" French dude looked at a corrupt, chaotic government and said, "Yeah, I could do better than all of you." So what did he do? He staged a coup, overthrew the government, crowned himself emperor. This mofo knows his shit. But here's the crazy part. People actually liked it. Why? Because he actually delivered. You could finally own a property without the state taking it, religious freedom after years of chaos, jobs based on talent, not who your daddy was. And for those who saying charisma is not as same as Riz, this little French dude has mad Riz. He bagged a baddie. So Napoleon had presence and conviction. With just 2 pillars, he conquered Europe and crowned himself emperor. He had immense power, but power without a moral compass is just a weapon, and also manipulation. And that's exactly what it became. Because the third pillar, the one that makes charisma humane instead of just effective, is empathy. And I mean real empathy. Because in my opinions, Napoleon's empathy was purely strategic. Helping people was just a tool for his own power and control. This guy sent 600,000 of his men to freeze to death in a Russian extreme winter, and only about 100,000 of them made it out alive. All because Tsar Alexander refused to feed his ego anymore like he was all that. Let's say, even though winter came early, right? Could you have postponed it at least? He had 2 out of 3 pillars, and it made him powerful, sure. But at the same time, it made him a tyrant. That's why this third pillar isn't optional. It's the difference between charisma and manipulation. I warned you. This is powerful again. Use it for good and not evil. So, real empathy means goodwill towards others. Make them feel comfortable, respecting their space, and just respect them, period. And no one showed this better than Fred Rogers, better known as Mr. Rogers. This clip of him from the late 1960s that I think everyone has seen. This was a time of intense racial segregation in America, by the way. As you can see here, they sat there side by side, dipped their feet in the same water, just 2 dudes chilling. In that one simple gentle act, he wasn't just being nice, but also he was dismantling a barrier. He was showing a national audience a moment of shared humanity and equality at a time when many public pools was still segregated. My guy was smirking too. He really said, "Watch this, racists." What a man, right? He was focused on the good, and he made people feel enough exactly as they are. That's the secret. It's about making others feel like they're in the presence of someone who truly sees their worth. They make you feel like you could leave Mjolnir, not like you have to prove you're worthy of Mjolnir, aka Jonathan. Notice how all of them are not built like a Greek god too. Even Princess Diana, she don't look like a Greek goddess. That's because she's actually British. You get my point. Now that you know what you need to become charismatic, and that is basically these 3 pillars, but really, if you go back and look at what they have in common, they listen to people, so therefore, the most important skill that will make people like you even more is active listening. Learning this skill is like a cherry on top of these 3 pillars. I will not cover this here because that will take me maybe another 10 minutes. But please do tell me in the comments or in my DM wherever if I should. Most people won't actually use this, but you're still here, so I say you're different. And a little click on the subscribe button won't hurt too. Thanks!